Lady Deathstrike is the brand new card in Marvel Snap. She's 5 energy, 3 power. On reveal, destroy each card here with less power than this. My name's Specimen. I post Marvel Snap videos to YouTube very often, and I sometimes also stream on Twitch. Make sure you go give me a follow or a subscribe to watch more of my content. So, how can we best use Lady Deathstrike? There's a couple of different things she can do. You could use her in a destroy deck on your own side of the board with cards like Nova, Bucky Barnes, the Hood. But she can also be used offensively, and in fact you can do both these things at the same time. You can destroy your Bucky Barnes while also destroying your opponent's Iron Man. Cards like Dracula are also going to be decimated by Lady Deathstrike. Another positive of Lady Deathstrike is dealing with the goblins. If your opponent plays a green goblin or a hobgoblin onto your side of the board, she is of course going to be able to destroy it and remove it from the game. Okay, Lady Deathstrike off the top is just popping off. And now it's Lady Deathstrike off the top! We're not going to snap in case they retreat. No! They retreated anyway. Of course, one big downside of Lady Deathstrike is she's only 3 points. And because you're destroying cards which are lower than her power, only cards which are 2 power or less can be destroyed by Lady Deathstrike. Unless, of course, you buff her. Now, I hear you asking, what is the best way to buff Lady Deathstrike? You're already thinking Forge. You're thinking Shuri. Well, what if I told you the answer is Cerebro? Cerebro is working with Lady Deathstrike with Cerebro down on the board. If Lady Deathstrike is the highest card in your deck, so in a Cerebro 3 deck where all of our cards are 3 power, she will be. She's going to bump up to 5 power and therefore destroy anything that is 4 power or less. However, this gets even better, of course, when you add Mystique into the equation. If you can copy Cerebro's ability with Mystique, instead of being 5 points, Lady Deathstrike will be a massive 7 points when she enters the board, destroying any card at 6 power or less. Of course, all your other cards in a Cerebro 3 deck are also going to be getting buffed up by your Cerebro, and therefore your cards like Invisible Woman, your cards like Jeff are also going to be 7 power, and Lady Deathstrike will not kill them. She only destroys cards which are lower than her current amount of points. That does mean though that your Mystique, your Cerebro, possibly your Iron Man could fall victim to Lady Deathstrike if you don't plan things out carefully. So in this deck, your Cerebro and your Mystique are going to be played into the same location most likely, and your Lady Deathstrike into a different one. In a normal Cerebro deck, your weakest location is going to be the location you play Cerebro into. However, if you can get Bast onto your own Cerebro, Cerebro will be buffing itself up to 5 points, or with Mystique, 7 points. So really nice bit of synergy. That is particularly strong with Iron Man. Setting your Iron Man to 3 power with Bast is already fantastic value. However, if it's also getting that +4 of Cerebro and Mystique, you suddenly have a 7 power Iron Man. Invisible Woman is a very interesting combo card with Lady Deathstrike as well. Because your Invisible Woman and Lady Deathstrike are the same power, Invisible Woman will not be destroyed by Lady Deathstrike, but it does ensure that you're always going to be going last on turn number 6. You could play Lady Deathstrike on turn 5 into your Invisible Woman. On turn 6, you could play your Cerebro and your Mystique down to try and get those big surprise points out of nowhere, and suddenly you've got a 7 power Invisible Woman and a 7 power Lady Deathstrike coming out of nowhere to decimate your opponent's location. Let's take Lady Deathstrike for a spin and see just how good Cerebro 3 is looking. Green Goblin in our opponent's deck is great news for our fine lady known as Lady Deathstrike. We have the Cerebro Mystique. Unfortunately, no sign of the Bast on this one. But there's Lady Deathstrike, which is great. We want to make sure our Mystique and our Cerebro are into the same location. That's the only location we're not going to want to play Lady Deathstrike into. So this is going to be our Green Goblin lane. Sorry, our Lady Deathstrike lane is going to be where the Green Goblin goes. We'll snap. Feeling very confident about this. We could, of course, play our Lady Deathstrike this turn, but I think the surprise value is going to be a little bit better. What is going on there, Sunshine Deathlock? Is everything okay? Who hurt you, mate? So we could take the Lady Deathstrike now. I think saving her for a finisher is a little bit more exciting though. Actually, we could have played Invisible Woman, Lady Deathstrike together because Invisible Woman doesn't die to Lady Deathstrike, which is really interesting. We'll just move Jeff over to the right to try and secure that lane. Cosmo and Invisible Woman to the left. And then the Lady Deathstrike down the middle, dealing with both the Deathlock and the Green Goblin. Pretty exciting stuff. Destroyer for our opponent into the Cosmo. GG. Well. Shuri's Lab is an awkward one, but the hand has a lot of potential. Deathstrike can be played into Shuri's Lab to some great effect as well. Misty Knight goes down mid for our opponent. We could deal with that with Killmonger. We do, of course, have Rhino to just get rid of Shuri's Lab. Shuri's Lab really is a pain for us, so I think it's not worth it overall. Even though it could give us a bigger Lady Deathstrike, more likely it's just going to mess with our Cerebro, even if we do play... Okay, well, no turn 7. That's also fine. Rhino feeling very important with Deathstrike, just because of how many bad locations there are for Cerebro decks. We'll take the Cerebro this turn. A few more cards available. Hopefully we find the Mystique. We have Mystique and Invisible Woman, perhaps. We do find it. Do we want Invisible Woman, or are we more happy with a Sentinel? The Lady Deathstrike mid is very interesting because it won't kill the Rhino. It will kill the Bast. And it is going to kill the Hobgoblin as well. This is the time for Lady Deathstrike to shine. It clears the Hobgoblin. It clears the Misty Knight. It clears the magic. It's going to be at 7 points, so Maximus will survive. I'm not going to snap just in case our opponent retreats. We have to see this. See you later, Bast. Adios, Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin? Adios, Hobgoblin! Let's go. Of course, Hobgoblin was played last, so it resolved last. Lady Deathstrike chilling at 7 power. Not killing your own cards that are also at 7 power. Not killing your opponent's cards that are at the same power. As you can see, Cerebro has to be the way to play Lady Deathstrike. I'm sure of it. Pretty interesting stuff. That was Lady Deathstrike, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really excited for this card. Make sure if you enjoyed the video to check out my YouTube channel at SpeciSnap. Really hope to see you over there. And thank you very much to Marvel Snap for having me on the channel. What a great privilege.